Now we hear there's breaking news. We hear that military officers in Guinea Bissau have announced taking total control of the country while suspending its electoral process and closing its borders. Well, the coup announced Wednesday, that's today, by the head of the military office of the presidency, Brigadier General Dennis Nkanhar, came 3 days after the poverty-stricken West African nation's legislative and presidential elections, in which both the incumbent president and the major opposition candidate have claimed victory. Gunfire was heard earlier on Wednesday outside the coup-prone country's presidential palace as men in military uniform took over the main road leading to the building. Well, military personnel made the announcement by reading a statement at Army headquarters in the capital, Bissau. Well, AFP journalists observed on the scene. We also hear that the president, Umaru Sissoko Embalo, is under arrest. Before we get into our major topic of discussion, comrade, I would like for you to chime in, to weigh in briefly on the coup in Guinea-Bissau. How does that strike you, that there is a coup in Guinea-Bissau after elections? That is the critical thing, and it's very instructive. After elections, what's your reaction to that?
Hear me. Can you hear me, Mr.
Yes,
Okoro?
Go ahead, I can hear you.
You see, let me say this. You see, what are we having in Africa? Is this one a democracy? Are we having an election? Look at what happened in Cameroon the other day. A man that is over 92 years. He only showed up during election campaign only once, while he was somewhere in hospital in Switzerland. That's the country, Nigeria, here, with utmost humility. We saw what happened in the last election. And that's why some of us were admonishing, we are appealing to Nigerians that there is need for them to go as they go out to gym. They should factor in if some minutes, 45 minutes or 1 hour, to practice madness in preparation for 2027. You see, what we are having in Africa is a show of shame. For me, it's a welcome development. For me, I must be very frank with you. It is a welcome development. So
okay,
I'm a
welcome development, but you profess to be a Democrat. How come this coup is welcome to you?
You see, a desperate time calls for desperate measure. I must be very frank with you. When the quote and unquote that is okay, you believe in a system, and the system is not forthcoming, that meeting up with the yearnings and aspiration of the people, then you must call for a change, so that we'll go back and start all over again.
Comrade, what kind of change would that be? Peaceful or violent change? This is clearly a violent change, and it's not welcome in democratic settings like we have. And when you talk about democracy, Obasanjo has said, look, what we practice, shouldn't we look for African-style democracy? Do you agree with Obasanjo? If we cannot practice the perfect one that we find in Europe and the Western world, should we go for African-style democracy? And what would that be? I mean, you have a problem that somebody that's 92 years old is running for government. Should we have a problem with that? Is it not human anymore?
Mr. Okoro?
Yes, sir.
There is a saying that I think it was Thomas Jefferson that once said that rebellion to tyrant is an obedience to God. That is the gospel truth. For me, Mr. Okoro, I have a challenge. I wouldn't want to say it's a problem. I'm a realist. I believe I will tell you the truth the way it is. If you like to take it, then I'll move ahead. The African leaders, we must go back to the drawing board. African leaders, we must go back to the drawing board and begin to define what works for us. Otherwise, with utmost humility, all this show, like what we are presently experiencing in some African states, even including our dear country, Nigeria. So for me, that is why some of us were out to talk. Because a stitch in time saves 9. So before one is to before arm. So that's why we are appealing to them. Let us have the society, or rather the country we all clamor to have. They must endeavor to sit back and go back to the drawing board and make sure that this system that we are currently enjoying works for the average Nigerian, not for a selected few. That is the point. As it is now, it is just for a selected few, for some errant men and women that are loyal. which ought to be so. It is our collective patrimony. Why should some selected few be enjoying our collective patrimony on our behalf? It's not acceptable. As we speak very justly, there are no roads. There are no access roads across the country, the length and breadth of this country. No insecurity everywhere. I saw some very gory video from Niger Delta, just from River to be very precise. Even just now, I was told that the buses I bought where I was cancelled, that the kidnappers had jacked one of the on their way to Ughelli in Delta State. I was called. I have received more than 50 calls. Local government mass transit. Because it's not me. And I will say that all is well. All is not well. Because there's a saying my grandmother will always say in my very Guinea language, I hear. What that means, when translated, is this: that when your neighbor is not at peace in the night, you yourself, you will not be at peace. That is the gospel truth. I mean.
All right. Thank you very much, comrade. Now, does it strike a chord that this thing is happening a few weeks after we also heard of rumors of a coup scare in Nigeria? Does it strike a chord? What is going on in West Africa? Briefly, before we move into the major topic of discussion.
You see, Mr. Okoro. You know, before now, I have tagged the Nigerian Army to be likened to a last born that has been over-pampered, overfed. You know, during my days in the secondary school, I have about three last borns in my class. The way they behave, with utmost humility, they were almost close to a moron, because they have been overfed. Parents guide them left, right, center. At the time, their parents wrote work for them. That to tell you that how overfed or over-pampered they were. At the point, our military, where they were now becoming, likened to that, until their recent rumor, quote unquote, that they were almost, calling the shots. Then I begin to have, okay, these people, they are not likened to overfed last born. So for me, I think I now have some beliefs and some trust in the Nigerian military. So we need somebody that will be able to tell civilians that, look, what you are doing, you are not doing it right. We need somebody like that. Because the way they are running this country, now this is not how to manage a country. This is not how to govern a country.
All right.
Where you want to suffocate
Thank you very much, comrade. Talking about running the country. Now, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ahmed Wase, has revealed that names of Boko Haram members were once found on Nigerian Army's recruitment list. While speaking during a special House session on national security, Wase warned that such infiltration poses a grave threat to the nation's safety. He stated that Representative Mukhtar Betara, former chairman of the House Committee on Defense, could verify the shocking discovery. Wase lamented the deep flaws in Nigeria's recruitment process, which he said have allowed individuals with criminal backgrounds to penetrate critical security agencies. Sharing his personal loss, having lost a brother and a cousin to terrorism, he said such infiltration explains why bandits and insurgents continue to operate with impunity across the country, while he stressed the need for politicians to recommend only people of integrity for recruitment into security institutions. According to Wase, the nation's worsening insecurity persists because some individuals benefit from the chaos. He also criticized the politicization of citizenship and indigenship, describing it as a major divisive factor, citing over 30,000 deaths from Boko Haram attacks and about 5 billion naira paid in ransom last year. Was a call for urgent reforms and a coordinated national response to restore peace and public trust. Comrade, what's your reaction to this revelation that we found names of Boko Haram members in our army recruitment list? Is that something that we should hear? But we are hearing this now.
Is this no longer news? I'm not disturbed. Because in this country, we've had a well-known, an affiliate of Osama bin Laden being a minister in this country. We've seen why he was a lecturer, his antecedents,
Comrade, I hope, are you aware that you are on national TV and you are making this kind of grievous allegations?
Are you just hearing from me now?
Yes, this is my first time.
Have you not heard of that Patami, or what do you call it? Are you not hearing from me?
That he was an affiliate of Al-Qaeda.
You see, let me quickly say this. I said an affiliate. You see, let me quickly say this. We have had of late. We have seen the president's son hobnobbing with bandit associates and the likes.
Which of the presidents are you talking about? The current president?
Have you not seen Sheyi Peter hanging up with Gumi and the likes?
And so what about that? Who is Gumi? Gumi is a Nigerian citizen. Medical doctor, former army captain.
Yes, he is a Nigerian citizen. He is a Nigerian citizen. That is why the IGP said when he was asked that they released the abducted this thing, how come they were arrested? He told them that they came for peace settlement. But a country. I know, my brother. You see, let us be very sincere in this country. The IGP saying that yes, indeed that they came for a peace settlement, and that's why they released. And again, Bayo Ananuga said that they put a call across to them and asked them to release, and indeed they released. They released them. It has been said in this country that the number 2 man of this country at a point is one of the originators of Boko Haram in this country. Have you not heard that too?
No, I've not. I'm just hearing it now.
You've not heard too?
Yes, I've not.
That at a time when there were no terrorists, he ran to his house and he was discovered in his house.
So does that make him a terrorist too?
My brother, if you are not a friend of a thief, will the friend know your address? Mr. Okoro? If you are not an associate of a thief,
if you know that your friend is a thief, what if you don't know?
Mr. Okoro, please. And that's why I said just
all right. Comrade. Now, with what is happening, with this revelation, now, how do we gauge the sincerity of government in the war against terrorism? A situation where members of the National Assembly have come out to say, look, when the army was conducting its recruitment, we saw names of Boko Haram members. And yet, we have a government that is still standing. How do we gauge the sincerity of this government in the war against terrorism? Not only that, but a lot of things that you have pointed out. Negotiations going on, the IGP saying, DSS saying, presidential spokesperson saying, look, well, we have their contacts and all of that. How do we gauge the sincerity of this government in the war against terrorism? Are we paying service to it?
Mr. Okoro, if you are waiting for their sincerity, you just wait till eternity.
So what do we do? What's the way out?
Have you not heard this too from the governor of Kebbi? That someone gave an order to the troops to get out of the school before the bandits attacked. You've not heard that too? As you speak very just now, no questioning, and Nigeria know nothing about if such a person of the highly placed, a governor of a state can come out with such a very, very wealthy, statement, and the commander-in-chief cannot order, my brother, and you said that there must be sincerity of purpose. You will just wait till eternity.
When you talk about the commander-in-chief, the commander-in-chief said, look, I personally supervised the rescue of the Kebbi school girls. What else do you want him to do? Didn't you hear the commander-in-chief say that he personally oversaw that operation as commander-in-chief?
Okay. That is why Bayo Ananuga said that, yeah, they called them to release them, and indeed they yielded to their call. Well, you can see where how Boko Haram, infiltrated our territory, and not becoming a very vital. They are at our political space, because some persons they've alleged that with utmost humility that the party in power very just now, they introduce banditry or terrorists into Nigeria. You've not heard that too. You have heard in this country, and there's a pointer to that fact. So for me, I'm a little bit disturbed when you want to when you want to believe, still have some trust in these persons that are presently ruling this country. I have a problem with it. The crop of persons that are there now, all the security formations, they've all compromised. That is why you can see a Boko Haram, Boko Haram, a name will appear in the recruitment list. And so that you see, Mr. Okoro, you see, there's a saying in the local palace: tell friend the truth, not supposed to swear a friendship. The problem we're having in this country is because many of us are afraid to speak truth to power, because we don't know what will happen after speaking the truth. So for me, and for many Nigerians, the time to act is now. Because you know why? That which we fail to do now might be our greatest challenge tomorrow. It might be our greatest challenge tomorrow. You see, our late sage once said it, that the children of the poor that you fail to feed or trade today will be your children's problem tomorrow. Where are we today? So in our time, we must tell these men that are in the helm of affairs, not what they want to hear, what is really on ground, what is on the street, the truth. It's only the truth that will set you free, that will set us free. This one leg in, one leg out, we are going leg deep. As we speak, Boko Haram is spreading like a wildfire. I saw a very disturbing video from Rivers this afternoon. Perhaps you've not seen it. On the gunfire with the Asawana boys and the Boro boys. In Rivers. Not just talk about my state, Edo State. Not talk about Kogi. Those are captured states. And you say we should keep quiet and we should be massaging their ego, and we should go about and be chopping jollof rice with them in the table? No, now. Mr. Okoro, yesterday, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Yesterday, I entered a one cab. I don't want to mention the on my way when we get talking, the man told me that he's disturbed. I said, why? He said he's afraid. He said this hostile environment, that his children to grow up in this hostile environment, that is going to be a problem to him. He narrated the scenario. He painted the scenario that happened in his community. It's very disturbing. Here in Abuja. You see, not too long ago, they said about 41 unity school to be closed down. That is to tell you that this government has been captured. Permit me to use that word. They have been captured as well. That is to say that they are not in control.
Comrade,
that is to say that
comrade,
they are winning the war.
Okay, comrade, if you say that this government has been captured because they gave instruction for unity schools to be closed, recall that in 2014, when the Chibok girls were kidnapped, the current minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, was then the Minister of State for Education. He also gave an instruction for that particular Chibok school to be closed, but it was flouted by the then governor, who happens to be the current vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As at that point, was the government also captured?
You see, Mr. Okoro, you begin to sound like the APC men.
No.
And women.
No.
Let me say this.
We are holding a conversation.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So,
okay.
Anytime we are confronting these men in power, all they do is to take us back. They will not bring in PDP reign or during PDP, not knowing that we are. See, that is what we call frustrational scapegoatism. There is a theory that is called frustrational scapegoatism. All this excuse of failure on the part of the present rulers of this country, it will not help us. All we need to admit that, look, yes, indeed.
So, Honorable, when we compare notes, it's because we don't want to lose sight of our past, so that we know where we are traveling to, where we are headed. That's exactly my question. That's the point I made. Because you created the impression that this government has been captured. And is anything happening now, probably in varying degrees, that didn't happen in the past? If we learn from history, if we learn from history.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are you aware that many of the communities in Katsina, in Kebbi, in Niger, those rural, they are now moving to city centers. Many. Over nine local government in Katsina. It wasn't so during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. But
under Jonathan, the state of emergency, was declared on 3 states. Why haven't we seen that in this government?
You see, did you see any kidnapping in Niger State? Did you see any abduction in Kwara State?
Okay.
No,
that's my question. So why haven't we declared state of emergency in those states? If we did that like 11 years ago or more,
you see,
what could be responsible for that gap?
Let me quickly say this. One of the sister stations, I think I said it yesterday or day before yesterday, that indeed President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to some extent, is a very smart man.
Okay.
But whether it's intelligent, I'm still doing my research. His smartness is administering Nigeria for the wrong reasons, with utmost humility. You see, if we're to be reverse, godfather and godson having issue, quickly declare state of emergency. Now there is a core. There is a very disturbing situations in many states of the Federation, especially in the north, security-wise. This is the time for you to call for state of emergency. Even many have advocated, they have advised him to call for a state of emergency, but he has refused because 2027 is paramount. That is why you will see Remi Tinubu will be inviting senators for a dinner in the midst of tension in this country. That is, we are joke in this country. We are jokes, and we are ready to joke with anything. It's as bad as that. So it's
all right. Comrade, before we move into the next topic of discussion, Ahmed Wase said something. He said, please, when you recommend for military recruitment, ensure that the person you are recommending is of sound mind and morally upright to serve in the military. At the backdrop of that, how do we recruit people? Is it based on recommendations or based on excellence, based on competence? What should it be for us? I mean, you go to a senator, a member of House of Representatives, you say, okay, I'm from this constituency, and the person says, okay, accept in the military, without the military conducting due diligence, without the military running appropriate checks on that person. Is that what it should be? What should be the appropriate process to get...
Mr. Okoro,
okay.
You've just stated the ideal thing, the ideal process. You know, I think it was the former US president that once said that the problem of Africa is that the issue of strong men rather than strong institution. We have a very porous system. That is why you see politicians' children, ministers' children. Anytime there are vacancies in custom, in CBN, in the Port Authority, just name them, those juicy fireplace. You won't hear of any announcement within themselves, because they are the one in charge. They will fill in the gap. That's why you will see former senators' children. They are all in custom, they are all in EFCC, they are all everywhere. But you will see, because the system, as security stands, is who you know, not what you know. That is why some of us were out to say, okay, let's have a society where our children will go to any ministry or parastatal without knowing anybody, because of what he or she carries in his head. He will be given the offer or the employment.
Okay.
So the system as security stands is what we have made the system to be.
Okay. All right. Comrade, as we talk about the military, have you noticed recently that there has been an upsurge, a surge in the killings around the country, kidnappings and all of that? What could be responsible for that?
Mr. Okoro, You see, it is audible to the deaf and visible to the blind. You know what is responsible.
No, I don't
with
know.
utmost humility.
No, you
Our security formations, they have abandoned their constitutional duties, thereby pursuing Yahoo boys and Yahoo girls, thereby pursuing protesters. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police declaring somebody wanted because of he want to protest. Protest is human rights. Protest is a process where you believe that you are is a right of your head to communicate so that people want them to hear you. That is protest. Persuasion where they have abandoned the substance and begin to pursue the shadow. What do you expect? So for me, what we are currently experiencing now is what we are bargained for. That is the gospel truth. It is the gospel truth. I know you will not. You will say, that is it. See, I'm 100% a patriotic citizen of this country. To be patriotic, it is to defend your country, not to defend an individual that is the government.
All right. Now, comrade, I will not say anything because as an anchor here, I don't have an opinion. My responsibility, my duty is to ask questions, and as an analyst, yours is to provide answers to those questions. Now, let's get into the second topic of discussion, and it concerns your political party, PDP, two very powerful individuals within that party. Now, the long-standing feud between former Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose and ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo has flared up again following a controversial exchange after Fayose's 65th birthday celebration. Well, the two, who have been estranged for nearly 2 decades, had momentarily reconciled before Obasanjo's biting remarks at the event reignited hostilities. Well, Fayose has since demanded the refund of the $20,000 he allegedly gave the former president for logistics. Obasanjo, 88, had attended Fayose's birthday in Lagos, where he described the ex-governor as not the best of his political proteges. Though he acknowledged his achievement, Fayose, angered by the comments, claimed that he had only sought reconciliation in good faith and never apologized, insisting that Obasanjo owed him an apology for removing him from office years ago. He also said that he had converted the $20,000 to cash and handed it over to Obasanjo through a mutual arrangement before the event. Following Fayose's public demand, Obasanjo returned the money, which Fayose confirmed receiving and converting back to Naira. The ex-governor expressed satisfaction, saying he would not allow such a man to go away with his money. Well, Fayose further accused Obasanjo of coercing PDP governors in 2005 to donate 10 million Naira apiece to his presidential library project, vowing to reclaim his own contribution. Comrade, both men are members of the once great party PDP. What's your reaction to the altercation? I'd like for you to speak from a moral perspective between father and son. What went down? Is it acceptable?
Yeah, Mr. Okoro, let me quickly say this. Both persons are my senior. I would have used certain words for Fayose. It is becoming and not becoming. I think both Fayose and Wike, they are setting an abominable template for the younger ones. With utmost humility. We need to have some decorum. It was because of them, with utmost humility. I'm not trying to read the mind of the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, when he was in his birthday or his 10 years of the foundation. That there are too many rascals in the political, space. I think it was directly it was indirectly advising these two men. Of late, their character, their behavior in the public space, for me, it should be. They need to. They are my seniors. That's why I try to be very careful. Please, see, we are African. And for me, I grew up in a very, polygamous home. I grew up in a community where my immediate senior brother, if I see him the money, I must go on my knees. My immediate senior brother, that's telling you with my age and everything, we grew up in the same house. So I hardly insult my senior brother. That's why you see me now, I try to be very careful. Because Fayose is a senior brother, Wike is a senior brother, and our Papa, OPJ, no matter what. You've insulted OBJ, Ambassador, in the public. And I go and meet him in the closet and begin to say, Papa, no verse. No. If you truly were sincere, you go in the public, go through the media and everything to apologize. If truly you were sincere, the last outburst of the other statement, for me, if I had to be in the fire your shoe, you don't need to reply. It's a father figure. It's your father. So whatever insult to your senior, is senior to you in everything, both in fame, in age, in just name it, in children. It's not what. See, there's a saying in my very in my rich Benin language. When translated, if if someone that you know that in human endeavor, you are better than the person, and the person, to some extent has, tried to insult you, just let it.
Okay.
Our Baba